Ruy Lopez opening, Berlin, Rio Gambit accepted, 5.Re1 Nd6. Balanced, neither player ever had an advantage. That game was pretty competitive. Both players had an amazing opening. It was an incredible middle game by both players. Both players had incredible precision in the end game. Sharp games are frequently the result of starting with the king's pawn, since it dominates the center and frees up the bishop and queen on the light squares. A typical answer is e5, which builds a position in the middle, controls d4, and frees up the queen and bishop on the dark square. The move nf3 advances the knight toward the center, engages the e5 piece in combat, and sets up a castle. nc6 defends the pawn on e5, advances the knight toward the center, and scans the d4 square. The Ruy Lopez opening develops the bishop to immediately attack the knight on c6, the lone defender of the e5 pawn. nf6 advances the knight and engages in an attack on the exposed e4 pawn. Castling gets the king out of the center and activates the rook. nxe4 captures the e4 pawn and places the knight in the center of the board, where it controls many important squares. 1 rupee activates the rook and attacks the knight on e4. nd6 retreats the knight to a central square that attacks the bishop on b5 and controls the e4 and c4 squares. It is the last book move. This protects the bishop who was attacked. That's good. By growing a bishop from its initial square, this activates it. It is ideal. By doing this, a knight moves out of its beginning square and into the action. It is ideal. A pawn kicks the opposing bishop, forcing it to move or risk being captured. That's good. The bishop is now on a square that is more secure. It is ideal. The best choice is this one. It is ideal. This seizes a helpless pawn. It is ideal. Backs off. It is ideal. Recaptures. It is ideal. This defends a knight that was under attack and had no defenders. This is the only move that works. It is a great move. The rook is now in a safe position. It is ideal. Perfectly on point. It is ideal. The bishop will be better off as a result of this. It is ideal. Castling develops a rook while moving the king to a safer position beyond the board's center. Castling to the same side of the board as your adversary helps you escape some of the attacking that comes with castling to the other side. It is ideal. This develops a bishop off its starting square, getting it into the action. This threatens to kick a knight. It is good. This makes it impossible for the adversary to kick a knight. That's good. What I would have advised is that. It is ideal. Among the best actions. It is quite good. A wise decision. It is quite good. This suggests exchanging items of equivalent value. It is ideal. This protects a bishop who was being attacked and lacked defense. It is ideal. By growing a queen from its beginning square, this activates the queen. It is ideal. This keeps the material balance in check with good commerce. It is ideal. Backs off. It is ideal. Very precise. It is best. Now that the rooks can see one another, they can defend one another. It is ideal. This prevents an assault on a pawn that may have been taken. It is quite good. This competes for the open file with the opposing rook. It is ideal. A powerful play. It is quite good. This defends the bishop who was attacked. It is ideal. As a result, the rooks are placed in a single file and are able to cooperate to pose a danger. That's good. There were worse maneuvers, but there were also much better ones. It is incorrect. It is a fair deal after all captures. It is ideal. Recaptures. It is ideal. This keeps the material balance in check with good commerce. It is quite good. A newly threatened piece is both captured and protected by the piece in question. It is ideal. This exchange is fair. That's good. Backs off. Black is equal at this point in the endgame. It is ideal. The best choice is this one. It is ideal. By moving it from the back rank, this activates the king in the endgame. It is quite good. In the endgame, an active king is essential, and removing it from the rear rank is the first step. That's good. That's a decent move. That's good. Perfectly on point. It is ideal. It's alright. That's good. While not a mistake, that is also not the wisest course of action. That's good. That is a logical response. It is quite good. Among the best actions. It is quite good. What I would have advised is that. It is ideal. A wise decision. It is quite good. A powerful play. It is quite good. This is a fair move. It is good. Balanced. Neither player ever had an advantage. That game was pretty competitive. Both players had an amazing opening. It was an incredible middle game by both players. Both players had incredible precision in the endgame.